everybody, and welcome back to Doemland Disc Golf. Today we are going to be filming an in the bag video for the rest of the 2024 season. For my throwing putters, I've got 2 Pures and 2 Juries. These 2 Juries are pretty different stabilities. This blue one's pretty much brand new and flies like any Jury does, pretty overstable. And this Jury's pretty beat up, and it's my main, like, dead straight putter shot that I can power up on. The Pures, I have a gold Pure that my good friend Chase Johnson gave to me. This one is point and shoot. I can land this wherever I want, however I want. This Pure is a Crystal Star Zero Medium Moonshine Pure, and this one is a definite hyzer flip Pure. This one I can throw flat, and it gets on the turn and just never comes out of it. It just holds that in. Got my beautiful gold Pure. This one's will be dead straight. With this wind though, I'll have to put it on a little higher. Flip it up. For putting putters, I'm putting with classic agents, with the classic prototype agents with the stamped white. These, as you can see there, they have a fairly straight flight, but they've definitely got some integrity to them. Got a little bit of fade, so they fight some good winds and just very predictable flight. Another throwing putter type thing that I've got is a Berg X. I use this a good bit for forehands. I can pretty much drill the basket with this and don't have to worry about it going too far long. It's great for backhands too, and it's super straight, very straight. My mid-range selection is very specific. I have 4 slots, super overstable, fairly overstable, dead straight, and understable mid-range slots. The Grand Orbit Trust is my dead straight mid-range shot, and I will be throwing it here. Pretty much aiming for the basket. Go in the basket. Oh. Almost another skip ace on this hole. That would have been the second one. Off the other tree too. Oh. For my understable mid-range shot, I have a gold ice compass. This is fairly old, pretty beat up. I can put this on some good hyzer and it'll flip. Probably gonna throw this one a little right of the basket on a good bit of hyzer and flip up and push straight. I got the flight I was talking about. For another mid-range, I've got a retro compass. This one's pretty beat up, but I'm using this for some fun backhand hyzer flips and forehand hyzer flips. So I'm also carrying a Rolo in my bag for, you guessed it, rollers. That's why it's called Rolo. But also some tricky hyzer flips that I might need. For my controllable overstable, not super overstable, mid-range, I've got a Supreme Fugitive I'm throwing. This one popping out on a little anhyzer, fight out. My overstable mid-range slot, I have a dyed Justice that I got from RJ. Throwing this one on a forehand, basket's down in the cove, kind of putting it down this gap, flat, letting it fade. It's a Justice. It flies like a Justice. So in my bag I've got 2 Explorers. This one is a Fusion Burst Explorer from Match Play, the amateur Match Play, I don't know how long ago. And then a Recycled Explorer. Recycled Explorer is flippy. This is like a really good hyzer flip disc for me. Takes a bit of hyzer for it to flip up and go flat or turn. And this Explorer is the most amazing disc in my bag possibly. I'll say that about a lot of discs, but this one's really good. I can power off on this really hard and flat and it won't turn. This one's actually though, it has gotten a little beat up, so it will turn on me some, but it's still super controllable, and I have an extra one that won't turn. Next one I'm throwing is Recycled Explorer. This one is super beat up. I've had it for a very long time, and these recycled ones, as they are fairly flippy. So, and this one's real beat up, so we will see it. I'll throw it on a good bit of hyzer, get it to flip and turn. So I throw a zero gravity Saint for just kind of a utility disc for some woods forehand hyzer flips, some rollers, and some super grenades. It's a lot of fun. If I were to have like a huge tailwind, that might be the farthest flying disc in my bag. I have a Saint Pro in the bag. This is my absolute control disc. This one's a little flippy, like most Saint Pros are, and I threw this a ton at Blackhawk, and it just carves fairways up. It has a ton of glide, goes so far. This is a perfect hole for it too. Throwing it, a little bit of hyzer, probably at that tree. It's gonna flip over, get a little turn, fight out. Beautiful, beautiful control disc. Down there. Going the getaway for my straight to stable 9-speed. This one's got a little bit of flip to it, but overall very, very straight flight. I wanted to showcase my drive off that getaway. The getaway's here, like an inch from inbounds. I was pin high and would have had this putt for a birdie. Still par, but I got into. So I've got a Fortress in my bag for that in-between slot between my getaway and my Felon. It's definitely a bit straighter than a Felon, but more stable than a getaway. Throwing this out there, flat, pretty much towards that stump, I think. And try and get around that tree. So for my overstable fairway driver, I have 2 Felons in the bag, a Moonshine Orbit Felon, and then a Hybrid X Felon. I have so many Hybrid X Felons at home. Absolutely love this disc. This is the first one I ever got too. So this one's straightened out a little bit, but these both are my main forehand discs and just anything overstable. Here's the Orbit Felon on a forehand. Gonna go straight at it. It's a Felon. It flies like a Felon. So for my bomber distance drivers, I've got 2 Graces and a Strive. This Black Grace is the flippiest of them all. I'll put it out there on a bit of hyzer. It'll flip up and have some turn. This Grace is very controllable, super straight flight overall. And then this Strive is for big shots. That one I put out on a good chunk of hyzer, flipped up, had some turn, faded, great distance. This one I'm gonna put a little flatter, a little less hyzer. Yeah, I started to fight out at the end, but Grand Orbit Strive. Farthest flying disc, just gonna crush it. So I have 4 defenders in my bag, from most stable to least stable. I've got an old Fusion defender. This is the old plastic. I don't remember when they changed, but they did at some point. A Biofusion defender that's fairly new, has been thrown very minimal, pretty stable. This, I think Fusion defender. This one bombs. Yeah, this one has a little bit of flip to it. I can throw it flat. It gets some solid turn, fades out, goes really far. And then I've got a Biofusion defender that is flippy. I'll be throwing that here on forehand. That was no good. Going for my bomber defender. Popping on a little anhyzer, flexing it. Got some turn, some fade, up and high. And drill the basket with my stable defenders, just to show the different flight differences. Oh, almost at the pin. And now the less stable of the two. Go in the basket. Oh geez, way long. Got one enforcer in the bag. It's a Kansas City wide open enforcer that I just wiped the stamp off. This one's really workable though, and it fights the wind really well. Oh yeah, right over the basket, but that one's starting to straighten out on me a little bit, so I might have to put a new one in the bag, but enforcer, super stable.